Well, as entertaining a 20 overs as you will get, not just in the format or the World Cup, but in general. Pakistan, when they are hot, they are seriously hot, and the entertainment was at the top and the tail. We saw a blistering little cameo by Mohammad Haris at the top, but Shadab Khan stands tall and just a burst of energy injected into that innings that gives them 185. The last 6 conceding 78. So there's plenty to look back on today, but South Africa just could not catch the ball. We look back at that first innings on Maruti Suzuki presents ESPN Cricket for T20 timeout. We'll hear from Tom Moody and Uthappa in studio in just a moment, but the only one who said 165 plus was Urooj Mumtaz, who will appreciate that when Pakistan play well, they are something serious to watch. How good was that, Urooj?
Oh, fantastic. And we've probably been talking about this like a broken record, screaming our lungs off about the fact that the intent or the approach with which you play T20 was on display. Where it's been and why it doesn't get follow through for the old 20 overs is another story for another day. But I think fantastic to come back with, I think they were 43 for 4. The middle order, which has been under so much scrutiny and question, fires, and they've done it well. I think they've done 185. Par score on Sydney in this World Cup. I think with Miller not in South Africa, Pakistan will definitely fancy themselves.
All right, advantage Pakistan then as per Urooj Mumtaz. But let's just pick some seriously entertaining, 30, 40 minutes in those last 5 overs. How good was Shadab Khan, Tom?
Yeah, look, very impressive, wasn't he? You know, he just comes in, from the get-go. He is your ideal package, really, because he's three-dimensional. He's a gun fielder. He's clearly a very good leg spinner, and we've seen the value of leg spin bowlers in this format of the game. But there's been a lot of talk about him sort of being underutilised in the T20 side prior to this World Cup.
Yeah. As a batter.
As a batter, yeah. Yes. But just more so by coincidence, he found himself coming in purely because I think they were 95 for 5 when he came in, and he had his opportunity with overs still in the bank to be able to have an impression with Uthappa, and that partnership was key.
Yeah, that term three-dimensional in our part of the world has assumed some ridicule, for no fault of players being referred to. But if you actually look at a three-dimensional player, you just feel like Shadab Khan defines it.
Yeah, definitely. I think you can add the fourth dimension about what Shan Masood is talking about. He spoke about his leadership roles within the group and how he plays that role excellently. And I think he's done exactly that. He's led from the front. He's he's batted out of his skins there to be able to stitch up the partnership and get them to 185.
Yeah, and it just seemed like the innings just took a different turn once Shadab came in. Yes, we were very entertained by Mohammad Haris. I'll come to him in just a moment. But it looked like Pakistan lost their way. They went too hard too soon, or South Africa had pulled them back. Uthappa at the time that Shadab Khan walked in was nearly run a ball 20, 23 of 20, and he changed gears as well. That can happen when one guy comes in. We talk about the Surya Kumar Yadav impact on a guy who's playing anchor or accumulator. Just makes it so much easier for Uthappa.
Yeah, for sure. I think that tends to happen in situations where you're forced to play in a certain way. I think Uthappa was actually forced to play in that fashion so that you stitch up a partnership and get to a respectable total. Yeah. But then when someone like Shadab Khan comes in and throws the kitchen sink at it and it just lifts everyone and the mood within the two who are batting there as well. So that clearly rubbed off on Uthappa, and he had some proper sixes today.
Yes, Tom.
I was just going to make the point about Harris, coming at 3. We debated a lot about, what the combination should be batting order-wise, but I thought his contribution was significant with regards to the tone that he set with the bat, and it was nearly like the rest of the team picked up on that tone. It was certainly, it came with no hesitation. He was very decisive and went out there and really set the ship sailing.
He also kind of proved the point that we were talking about before at the pre-show, right? You need that oomph at the top. You need someone there, and then there's a legitimate case here to separate the two Pakistan greats there at the top. And I think with the way things are going there at the top of the order, it would do good for one of them to bat at number 3 and play that sheet anchor role, and have one guy go really hard, and Harris seems to be the guy.
Yeah, I mean, I guess now Pakistan fans will be saying, then what on earth was he doing, not part of the original squad, if he could play like that? Urooj Mumtaz, 28 of 11, the importance of that innings?
Yeah, it's a brave young kid and expressing himself, and I think he was given the liberty to do so as well. And saw this in when he plays for the PSL as well. He got hit on the head. He was sort of unperturbed by the situation, and he backed himself to use the pace, and he did it quite well. So again, people will question why he wasn't in the original squad, break up the open. And we saw similarly when Fakhr came in for that one game, he provided that impetus up front. And if Haris is the stroke maker he is, I think they need to invest him in the long run. And picking up on Tom's point earlier, the chopping and changing doesn't help anyone's confidence. So he's made a case for himself, and he provided that infectious sort of intent that Pakistan and then Shadab, Nawaz and Iftikhar picked up on.
Yeah. Can it happen at times though, Tom, that it's a good thing to just throw someone who's not carrying the baggage of the previous games, the defeat to Zimbabwe, and put them on? And maybe you talk about inconsistency, it's a valid point, but sometimes is this kind of selection a smart selection?
Well, I don't think you can define it as being smart. I think you define it as being, yes, he's a talented player. You more look at the opportunity the player has taken. He's looking at it, wow, this has come left field. I'm not expecting this. I'm going to cash my chips in here and really, he's got nothing to lose.
Yeah.
And particularly if the instruction was, just go out there and express yourself. Want you to take the game on. That's your role. That's a great strategy from management, giving him that license, and also for him to embrace that and take the game on like he did.
It was just more or less a punt that came off, right?
Gamble.
It's a gamble, and you want to hope it comes off, and it came off for Pakistan's sake today.
Okay. Yes, Tom, please.
I was just going to say, you've also got to have the skill to be able to do it. So giving that message to Haris, he's clearly got the skill to be able to play that dynamic game. But if you gave the same message to Shan Masood, he doesn't possess that same sort of creative sort of power game. Not that he's a lesser player, he's a different player.
Yeah.
All right, fair enough. I guess there could be a lot of things that Pakistan cricket will have to look at after this World Cup. Remember, even if they get the job done today, they'll have left matters perhaps a bit too late. That Zimbabwe loss could come to bite them, and they may not make the semis. So I guess, Urooj, they will make a lot of calls. But I guess with two significant half centuries against India and now here against South Africa, Iftikhar Ahmed at 32, playing in that sort of difficult middle order, is still one to keep for the future?
I would imagine so. I think till Pakistan can get their jigsaw puzzles placed in, until they develop the player, somebody who's fired at the right moment obviously calls for his time to be lengthened in the game. And again, there's so much talk around that top order, but you see in this World Cup, Pakistan's middle order has actually come to the party. So I think that's another point that they'll go back and have to look at, that whether it is the fault of the middle order, who I believe in the past year or so have been left with minimal opportunities to evolve and progress and grow. And suddenly, and it's them who get chopped and changed around. So it's something for Pakistan to look at. Haris, again, I agree with Tom. It's not a smart selection. It's a forced selection because he was never in the lineup. Even in England, if they had to play him in the World Cup, they only gave him one go. So it's something for Pakistan to look at in terms of being consistent. And that's where the inconsistent roles also come in. The players sort of get chopped and changed around, and so do the roles. So it's something that Pakistan will have to have a hard, deep look at in order to be consistent performers at the world stage.
I think it's an interesting point Urooj makes here, because we've spoken of the middle order, and India had the similar sort of conversation after the 2019 World Cup. A lot of changes were made to the middle order. Even after the last T20 World Cup, we've pretty much got the same top three. They haven't had the opportunity because of how Rizwan Babar batted, but can you perhaps give them a longer run or be a little more sympathetic to how the middle order is with Pakistan, given they've not had the opportunity to succeed?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. And like we said, we were discussing in the pre-show, I think a lot of that chopping and changing impacts how you feel about yourself, your confidence in what you can go out there and do. There's a sense of insecurity as well. You feel like at the back of your mind, if you don't come off, then you could be changed again for somebody else. And that doesn't augur well for any team who wants to succeed at the highest level.
All right. Just before we wrap, second innings underway, I wonder if I can pick a ball over here and throw it to either of you just to see what's wrong with the catching today.
Was it wet?
Yeah, let's have a look. Oh, safe as houses, Tom Moody.
It disappears in these hands.
That it does.
I thought Aiden Markram had bucket hands.
Yeah.
But today was one of those days where it spread, hasn't it? Like an infection, those drop catches.
I think we talked about it in a previous show. It does become contagious, and I think with South Africa, they normally pride themselves on high standards in the field. Way back to the Jonty Rhodes days, he sort of set the standard. And to see a couple of the missed chances off, particularly a couple of the players you'd expect the they'd swallow them, 99 times out of 100. Yeah, it was unusual. But, it was also a bit damp underfoot and it was a bit drizzly, so let's give them half a chance. There you go.
Safe as you like. I'm quite safe from this distance with those sort of throws. Yeah. All right, we leave it there. Even then, we saw two incredible catches. Kagiso Rabada to get Babar Azam, Riley Russo towards the end. It was a mixed bag. We got everything from South Africa. Will we see them defend this, rather will we see them chase the score in the absence of David Miller? As Urooj Mumtaz said, she fancies Pakistan. Easy win for Pakistan, Urooj? Or nothing's easy for Pakistan?
Don't reckon it'll be easy, but I think Pakistan have got the best opportunity. Runs on the board, a formidable bowling attack. Their fielding will be key here.
Tom?
I think Pakistan.
Easy, or are we getting for a close one?
I think they're going to win it, well, not easily, but I think they'll win it comfortably. Yeah.
Okay. Robin?
It's a hard one, honestly. For me, I think if South Africa going to chase us down, it's going to take some doing.
Yeah.
But I'd say Pakistan might edge them over in this one.
All right, we leave it there. It looks like it's Pakistan's points for the taking here. And just to throw it in there, it's almost the last 3 or 4 days of Super 12. World Cup's been on a while. We haven't had a Super over yet. Just putting it out there. Anyway, let's see if Pakistan remain alive and kicking. Their batters have certainly given them the best possible chance to. We pick up the conversation with Tom Moody, Robin Uthappa and Urooj Mumtaz at the end of this game. Join us then on Maruti Suzuki Presents ESPN Cricket for T20 Timeout.